So I had another date with Anna Kendrick yesterday, and well, I really didn't want to, but she insisted. She even said she'd wear the Brett Favre jersey and grow out her beard a little bit, but it's just not the same. So I had to break it off with her, and now I'm just waiting for that restraining order to clear so I can finally call Brett again. Anyways, that's a little fun bit for people who watch the replay. There are currently 0 live viewers, so I can just ramble on about whatever things I want. No one's going to see it. It is time for the live Q&A that I promoted last Wednesday, I think. And I've got a whole bunch of questions here that were asked on Facebook and in the groups and on YouTube. So I guess we'll dive right in. First question is from Amanda. She has 2 questions. What energy drink have I been favoring lately? And when am I going to do another road trip thriftathon? Well, I love orange. When I get a pack of Starburst, the orange and the yellow are the 2 best flavors. I really wish I could just buy those because then I wouldn't be wasting all of the other ones that I just throw away, like those gross red ones. So I drink Nos and Monster Chaos. Those are my 2 favorites. I switch between the two. I buy them in bulk from a local gas station that special orders cases for me. I used to buy them on Amazon, but I don't like buying stuff on Amazon. I'd rather support a local business. So that is what I've been drinking. And your second question, when am I going to do another road trip thriftathon? I think I'm overdue. I probably should do one soon. Right now, and for the past couple of years, I've been so busy with my brick and mortar here, I can't just disappear for a couple of months. But I do need to go on a trip. We got a few people in the feed. We've got Pure Understanding, D, Clem. I remember seeing you in the comments. Jigsaw, Zen Master May. I think I pronounced it right. Mr. Roboto. Wow, I need more of this. Domo arigato. Angry Patriot and a whole bunch of other people. So we've got a whole bunch of questions here from YouTube and from Facebook that I printed off. We are going to go through. Tyler called me a dog and told me to shout him out. So, hi, Tyler! Is that shouting enough? Neighbors probably are a little confused. So, next question is from Tom. What is the weirdest thing I ever found in a storage unit? I've found a lot of weird things. Nothing fun weird, more usually sad and depressing and gross weird. For example, I found what appeared to be a suicide note once, a copy of one stamped as evidence from a local police department. But by far the grossest thing I've ever found in a storage unit. This wasn't a traditional storage unit. It was just a standalone building, and the guy had it as a workshop, like a wood shop. And one room, I don't think he was living in there, but he would definitely spend the night. You could clearly see there was a cot set up, and there was, like a hot plate, toaster oven, some seasoning and stuff. And I found a bag of potatoes with the food kind of under the table in a bucket. And they must have been really old, and there's no telling how long that place has been vacant. So they were really mushy. And so I threw them in the garbage along with all the other food stuff. And then the smell hit me like a cinder block falling from the sky. That wasn't a bag of potatoes. That was his bathroom. I almost vomited that day. I still could smell it days later. It was like the smell was burned in my nose. That was probably the grossest thing I've ever found in a storage unit. Raphael 989 wants a shout out. I'm not going to shout anymore. That was enough. Okay, so Andrew says, how do you feel about the 4,613 YouTubers out there trying to copy your content? Well, Andrew, I am quite impressed that you counted them all. That must have taken a long time. Andrew's actually a friend of mine. I guess honored. I don't know. I don't dislike it. Nobody else seems to be able to get the views that I did, except for the person who has like 6 million views and did a terrible video about Amazon liquidation. She bought from liquidation.com 1 box, and she paid a lot for it. I wish she would have contacted me first, and I could have given her some tips on finding better stuff to show in her video. But anyways, she's the only one who did anywhere near my views, and I think that's because she has 6 million subscribers. Anyways, I said anyways a lot there. Well, the people didn't do quite as well as me. I think not because my video was better, but because I just got lucky. I did other videos after that going through the Amazon pallets, actually showing what was all in them, and they didn't do nearly as well. I think it was just a fluke that that one went crazy viral. Maybe it was posted somewhere. Who knows? But it's kind of entertaining seeing everyone do that. Similar videos, even big YouTubers in the resale area will do similar videos, and it's interesting. Big tip for anybody on YouTube or even just starting a business: you don't want to copy somebody else. Be different. That is how you succeed, and that's what I try to do as much as I can. So, anyways, next one. Mark says, I'm trying to learn about products to buy in bulk with an average return, especially for Q4 and beyond. Well, I really hate to tell you this, Mark, but you're a little late for Q4 this year for the holidays. Most people are already prepared. I start my Christmas planning around June or July and really get in a full swing around mid-August. We're already almost 2 weeks into the fourth quarter, and it's going to go by really fast. But to actually answer your question, the best way to find products, it sounds like you're looking for wholesale products. Simply look on eBay, Amazon, Etsy, retail stores, wherever you plan on selling it, look there for products that are already successful. And then Google the manufacturer's information to find out how to contact them and simply ask. It's so simple. Everyone, even myself, before I started getting into it, thought, there's got to be a roadmap to it. There's no special roadmap. There's no special website or list of wholesalers. You want to buy from the manufacturer, not someone who calls themselves a wholesaler. You're not going to find them at ASD or a similar trade show. You simply have to find a successful product and Google their information. And even if you can only find the customer service number, you call them and say, hey, I'm just curious, who do I talk to about opening up a wholesale account? They're either going to transfer you or give you the contact information of the people in charge of that. And then they'll give you some prices of their products, which, by the way, always negotiable. And then look to see if it makes sense for you, if you can sell it for a profit, if it's something that you want to do. I will warn you, you're going to get a lot of rejection. Now, I've been preparing my entire life for this rejection. I've gotten a lot of practice. So I'm good with it. But you're going to get a lot of people say, we don't sell to people who do Amazon. We don't sell to online. We don't sell to people who are only going to buy $500 worth. You're going to get a ton of rejection. You're going to get people saying, we are not opening up any new wholesale accounts. You're going to get a million rejections. Then you're going to find products that you can sell. They're just not profitable. Maybe you'll even lose money on a few. But you sit there and pound the pavement. Maybe you'll get one or two out of every 1,000 you call, and that's okay. Because if you find one product, you make some decent money on it over time. Let's see. Paul says, "How you doing?" Well, Mr. Tribbiani, I am doing fantastic. Mike White says, I watch your YouTubes. Love how you're always upbeat. Thanks, Mike. I am now building supplies to open a small shop myself. Fantastic. It's going to be hard work. Retail is really hard work when you're first getting it off the ground, but it can be very profitable. Just because all of the e-commerce sites are taking over doesn't mean won't always be a place for retail. If you find a way to provide value and set yourself apart, you'll do really well in retail. Next was Kevin. He says, have you done anything with the new store you showed a while ago? And I saw a few other questions that asked that. No, I have not. That was one of several commercial locations that I was looking at. And it's something that's in the works for maybe next spring or summer. Not something that I plan on doing immediately. I was just kind of looking at some properties, and I was bored at that property, so I decided to do a video. But no, I have not done anything with that yet. Parks Ads says, why don't you go to thrift stores anymore? And there's a reply saying, have you been to Goodwill? Stuff is nearly retail price. Yes, prices are high at Goodwill, but 3 years ago, when I was at my thrifting peak and making a ton of money at thrift stores, people were complaining about the prices. There's always stuff you can profit on. You just need to switch it up a little bit. And that's just the nature of the business. It's always changing. But to Park, answer Park's ads question, why don't I go to thrift stores anymore? I do. I just don't film it much anymore. I don't have time to edit videos. I used to spend 6 to 8 hours editing one video. And if you notice, most of my videos the past couple years have been raw live videos, not edited fancy and whatnot. It's just I don't have time for it. I don't make a ton on YouTube. I make maybe 5, 10 bucks per video. And back then I was making like $1 per video. So it's a hobby and nothing more. That's why you don't see me post regularly either. You might get 6 videos in 4 days and then 3 months with no videos. So that's just who I am. Moving on, let's look at some comments in the feed here. I never look at the feed, so let's see. Where do you sell used things? I sell used things at a number of locations. I sell with local consignment stores. I'll drop it off. They'll take 50% and sell it for me. I will sell with auction companies. Again, I will drop it off and they'll take a percentage and sell it for me. And I sell it on eBay. Occasionally, I'll sell on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, but not often. I really don't like doing that. Hi, Rabbit. I'm a new fan from Newcastle, PA, and I want to become a buyer of storage units and resell the contents at live auctions to create an income. And I'm on SSI and want to work from home. It's a lot of work going through storage units, a lot of heavy lifting. In fact, that's why I stopped doing storage units for a number of years. I actually kind of got started in resale when I lived in North Carolina around 2011, buying storage units, and then I stopped and didn't buy another unit until last year, I think. It's a lot of work, back-breaking work at times. It can be very profitable and it's a ton of fun, which is why I still do it, the fun. But as far as getting started buying storage units, you need to know where you're going to sell the stuff. You will not make money if you're only selling on eBay or only selling at the auction or only selling with consignment stores or only selling on Facebook Marketplace. You need to really sell in as many different areas as you can, and you need to manage your time wisely, get stuff out of your house, warehouse, storage, wherever you're working from. You need to get it out of there as quickly as possible. Rose says, how do you figure out pricing? I never know what to charge. You do yard sales. Well, for eBay, it's very easy. I look at comps on what this item or similar items have sold for in the past couple of months, and I'm going to price it usually around the higher end of that. I provide a lot of value with free, no hassle returns, free shipping, and I have really good pictures. I have best offers on the listing. So if I see something priced between $50 and $100, I'm pricing it at $100. But eBay is easy to figure out what to sell things for. Selling things locally, like at a garage sale or on Craigslist, that can be difficult. And with that, there's really no secret to it. It's just figuring it out. List it. If it doesn't sell, lower the price. You can look at comps, especially if you're selling on Facebook or Craigslist, and see what similar stuff sells for, but not everything is on there, and you don't know if it's actually selling. So it's just kind of a guess and check. Price it and see if it sells. How do you get the restrictions unlocked on Amazon? Jacob says. Typically, you need to send invoices from a manufacturer that you are authorized by that manufacturer to sell the product. Not easily done. In fact, most things that you're buying, if you're buying it via retail arbitrage or thrifting, you're not going to even be able to get invoices. You're not going to be able to buy it. So you just have to move on. There have been times where if you applied, Amazon would automatically approve you with no invoices. That does happen from time to time, but not very often. And you do need to have a well-established account for that to happen, from what I understand. Tyler says, do you ever buy items from local auctions just to sell? Absolutely. I buy a ton of stuff from local auctions. There's a handful of them in the area that I buy from on a regular basis, stuff that I sell on eBay, stuff that I'll sell locally. Sometimes I'll even buy stuff from one auction that I know I can sell at another auction for more money. So yes, I do buy a lot from local auctions. Let's go back to this thread here. Let's see. Bill from Cleveland says I need to make more videos. I do, but I'm not going to. So sorry, Bill. Let's see. Moving on, we've got Chris says dollars. I still don't know how I'm saying dollars wrong. People say dollars starts with like a Barbie doll, but I say doll and dollars the same way. Yes, I think I do. I don't know what to say with that, but I hope you guys enjoy it and find it amusing. Let's see. What advice and tips would you give someone who's looking to get in the world of buying and reselling? That question is from Leo. Best tip I can give you: just do it. I know I sound like a Nike ad in this video, but just do it. There's so much videos, ebooks, courses, Facebook groups, and they help, but they're never going to give you the experience. You can spend months learning from courses and groups. You can spend thousands of dollars learning, and you won't get anywhere. Go to a thrift store. As soon as you're done watching this video, go to a thrift store, go to the electronics area or the clothing or the toys, wherever you want to start. Just look up every single thing that you see. Even if you think, oh, there's no way this is going to be worth money. If I had a dollar for every time I thought there's no way something is going to be worth money and it ended up being worth money, I would have at least a dollar. I would have a lot of stuff. It surprises me every day what people pay for. I posted a video saying I was going to get $50 for a VCR, and I can't tell you how many comments there were saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. VCRs don't sell. You'd be lucky to get $5." Believe it or not, VCRs sell really well. In fact, I made like $40,000 in sales on VCRs in 2017. VCRs, VCR, DVD combos, so on and so forth. The market has dropped quite a bit. I used to be able to get like $100 for any brand name VCR. Now some are as low as 15, $20, but some are still up there. But just look up everything. It's the best. And you might go into that store and walk out empty handed and be frustrated, but that's how you learn. That's how you learn something is or isn't worth something. So just do it. That is the best advice that I can give. From night owl to early bird, I like that. Says Resale Rabbit, how do you find different stuff at auctions? Where can we find that? How do you do your okay, there's a lot of questions here. Let's go one at a time. How do you find different stuff on auctions? Where can we find that? The two easiest places to look for online auctions is Proxybid and Hibid. It's spelled Hibid. I don't like Proxybid. There aren't a lot of auction companies near me that use them, and it's kind of a clunky website that's kind of a pain to go through. I usually go on Hibid. In most states, you can type in yourstate.hibid.com. So I would type in wisconsin.hibid.com and see all of the auctions in Wisconsin on this website. And there's a map where you can filter ones that are close, far. You can search for certain items. It's actually kind of a nice website. And that's your best bet to find the auctions. You can also just Google auction companies near me. That's where you're going to find your live auctions, and you can do really well buying at live auctions because stuff doesn't quite go for as much, and there's less people there. You can also check auctionzip.com, but that website's kind of going downhill. They raised their prices, so I heard, on auctioneers, so less people are advertising on there, and they took an anti-gun stance. Now, before you comment, I am not here to talk politics. I don't care if you are the biggest gun lover ever and always carry a gun on your hip, or if you think guns are literally Satan. I don't want to hear it. My point in saying this is a lot of auction companies, they sell guns. And when an auction website says, we're not going to let you post guns here, you're going to go elsewhere. Therefore, you're going to find less people on AuctionZip. Still can be a good place to look, but I would utilize Google more. Also, a lot of auction companies are run by old guys who don't know much about the internet, so look in the paper. Let's see. Early Bird also says, how do you do your dollar sales? Please make a demo video for beginners. There really isn't much to tell about it. I'm all about efficiency. Most stuff is worth more than a dollar. Some is worth less than a dollar. I just pour it all on the tables and let people dig. It looks like going to the Goodwill outlet when you come to my warehouse for these sales. I will sell a ton of volume, and I will make $2,000 to $3,000. I'll have 700-800 people show up over the course of a weekend, just because I stack it all on the table. But I price it higher and get more? Yeah, I don't think it's worth the time for me. And saying everything's a dollar really draws more people in. Lastly, why don't you make any more thrift store videos? I kind of touched on that already. Thrifting is a smaller part of my business now, and also it's a lot of work to make those videos, but I will try to make another one with within the next couple of weeks, even though it's a lot of work. So you guys better appreciate it. Please visit Western Pennsylvania, he continues, and make a video about thrift stores and Goodwill over here. I was actually recently in Western Pennsylvania. I didn't go thrifting there though. I went to the Ohio State Penn State game, and it was a ton of fun. And I went through Pittsburgh on the way back, but I have thrifted Pittsburgh before. There's a Goodwill electronics store. I think they were branded as Goodwill Computer Works. That was amazing. Definitely want to check that out. Also, just a couple hours west, you'll find Columbus, Ohio, and Dayton, Ohio, two of my favorite places in the country to thrift. So check that out. I think it's only like 2 hours from Pittsburgh, maybe not even. Let's see. JEZ1 says, "Hey Rabbit, my question is, what advice do you have for someone who wants to try resale? I've been watching so many resale videos, and it looks like a good hobby myself. Where does one even start?" I basically touched on this a little earlier. Just go out there and look stuff up. It's you've already watched, it sounds like, all the videos, read the posts. Just look stuff up. That's your next step. Just get out there and do it. Now there were a whole bunch of other comments arguing about why, so you can contribute to lowering prices and all that. I wouldn't be worried about hobby sellers lowering prices. People do it as a hobby, just sell a few things here and there. It doesn't make a difference. It's the full timers that lower prices, not the hobby guys. So let's go back into the live thread. Do you get better percentages on eBay for selling large quantities of stuff, or still stuck with the 10% plus 3% PayPal? I think I get a better rate being a top rated seller, and B, having a store subscription. I'm honestly not sure, but 10% plus 3% on PayPal is nothing. I I would happily pay double that for some of the stuff I sell. For example, I sold some blood analyzers for $2,500. Paid 25 bucks for it. Why did I pay 25 bucks for it? Because there is absolutely no way I would get anywhere near 2,500 outside of eBay. If I sold it on Craigslist, I would maybe get 25 bucks for it, like the other guy. eBay is a great avenue to sell, and most places, consignment stores, auction companies, they all charge upwards of 50%, which is a fair number. I have no problem with the fees on eBay whatsoever. But to answer your question, if you sell a really high volume, talking thousands of units per day, I wouldn't be surprised if eBay would cut you a lower price. Let's see. Can you send us a link of your eBay? Unfortunately, for privacy reasons, I don't share my eBay information. Although it's not hard to find, I would appreciate anybody who does have it not to post it. Um, I would appreciate that very much. Well, it's really hard to sell on eBay if you don't accept PayPal. Assurance Group says, I don't think you can sell on eBay without accepting PayPal anymore. I remember when you used to be able to accept checks and people would mail you a check and then you would mail the product out. I wasn't selling on eBay back then, but I was buying. I remember doing that. But you definitely want to accept PayPal. It's 3%. Who cares? If you accept any type of credit card, you're going to be paying a percentage in fees anyways. And accepting checks, that's just a big headache and hassle. How long until I retire? When I make $27,332.14, then I'll probably retire. Or maybe I'll retire when they're lowering me into the ground. Who knows? Tammy, I always ignore your craft questions. I apologize for that. Somebody, let me see if I can find it. Somebody asked me a craft question in here. I don't know if it was you or not. Yes, Tammy. My question is, do you find craft items like cardstock, scrapbooking paper, or fabrics? Yeah, from time to time, usually in storage units. I see it all the time at thrift stores, but it's an area that I don't know a lot about. And a lot of the stuff is low dollar stuff, so I really don't buy it. I don't look at it. One thing worth note though is if you see a category you don't know a lot about, go look it up, figure it out, start looking stuff up. I hear usually the older generation say, "Oh, you kids and your video games, I could never learn all that stuff." I don't want to hear that excuse because I never played video games growing up either. I didn't know anything about games until I started researching. And that is how I now know an extensive amount about video games. I still don't play them. But anyways, back to crafting items. Not something that I find often, but you will find them in thrift stores from time to time. eBay is launching a new payment system. You choose it as a seller, you cannot accept PayPal. I'm actually kind of excited about this, that it's all integrated into one. That way I don't have to log into both eBay and PayPal. That's kind of annoying. Do you ever buy in bulk from any websites like Alibaba, DHgate, etc.? Not really. When you're buying from China, basically Alibaba, DHgate, AliExpress, you're buying cheap, generic, unbranded stuff, which can be really good for private label. Or if you have a retail store, you can buy, iPhone chargers for 50 cents a piece and sell them in your store for $2 each and make a killing. Not great for online sales because most of these people that are selling in bulk on these websites are also selling on eBay, slightly higher prices, but not really worth it for you to compete against them. That's not to say you can't find good items there, but they're they're in there. You got to dig. What are your thoughts on Amazon Merchant Fulfilled Prime? Ken in Wisconsin says, um, I mean, I like the idea. I think it would be really beneficial if you're selling merchant fulfilled because you can get your products listed on Amazon the second you buy them, especially for events like Black Friday, when most people, if they're really good, they buy their stuff Thursday night in the stores and then work on the shipment right away so it goes out Friday morning. And if they're lucky, it goes to a fulfillment center right down the road, gets there the next day, and by Monday, stuff is selling. If you're doing merchant fulfilled prime, you can literally have your products listed on Amazon before you purchase it and walk out of the store. So it can be very beneficial for retail arbitrage. It can also be nice. You don't need to wait for it to go online. You can get your money, your investment recouped much quicker, but it is a lot of work. Um, Barcode scanner used when thrifting. Does it connect to eBay or what? I just use the camera on my phone. I use the eBay app and I will scan the barcode right on my phone. I'm pulling this up to show you what it looks like. It looks like this. There's me. Hi. That is all I use. You really don't need an external barcode scanner unless you were doing a ton of scanning like booksellers. Then it makes a little more sense. But for the average thrifter, you don't need to buy a barcode scanner. Where do you buy your shipping boxes besides free USPS? I get my boxes on Uline. I have the advantage of a truck dock in my warehouse, so I usually buy a pallet full of boxes every month or two, varying sizes. I get almost all of my shipping supplies from Uline. They'll ship a pallet, and whatever they can fit on that pallet costs like $50 to ship to me. So it saves me quite a bit of money. If you are buying from Uline, your best bet, try to get it shipped freight. Even if you need liftgate service, it costs a little bit more, but it saves you a lot of money. Let's see. Peter Pete says, "Hi, random person." Hello, Peter. Let's see. Why won't you give away your eBay name, especially when people want to buy from you? Just for privacy reasons, really. I know I could get more sales out of it, but for privacy reasons, I don't like giving it out. Whoa, Rabbit, 135,000 subs. I know, and I still haven't gotten my silver play button yet. Come on, YouTube, get your act together. Hey Rabbit, do you think you will ever do one of your great sourcing videos like you did in the past? Yes, I've gotten so many questions both in here and here about that. I will do one just for you guys very soon. All right, back to this list. Let's see. Amanda says she recently stumbled on my channel and has one question. Where do you go and get your pallets for Amazon items? My friends and I were thinking it would be great reach out idea to open one as blind people and try to identify objects with no sighted help. Do you have any suggestions on where to get them? I've never done anything like this before. It could be fun. One piece of advice, have somebody who can adequately inspect the item first, go through it, because a lot of times there will be broken glass and sharp items in the pallets. They just toss the stuff in there and stuff breaks. So it probably isn't a wise idea for somebody who can't see to just be digging in there. You'll cut up your hands. But as far as where I got my Amazon pallets, I got those from a company called Blue Lots. They're out in San Francisco, and I don't buy from them anymore just because the shipping cost is too high coming out here to the Midwest. If you live on the West Coast, great place to purchase from. I don't know how I got such a great rate on those ones that I bought, but I can't even get stuff from Minneapolis a couple hours away for that price. But yeah, I can imagine that'd be fun, Amanda. Definitely something you'd consider trying out. Just make sure someone is there to look at the stuff first and make sure you're not, slicing a finger off or something. Angela says, I'm totally sure someone's already asked this. Is it really legal to buy stuff from a store or storage units and resell it? What about those that dumpster dive? Is that legal for them to resell stuff? There's more questions, which we'll get to, but I want to cover these first. Yes, it is 100% legal to buy something when you sell it, as long as you are not reproducing it. If you buy a CD, you can sell that CD. You can sell it for a profit. You can sell it for a loss. You can sell it by whatever means you want. However, you cannot copy the CD and then sell the copy. Um, it can get iffy when sites like Amazon or eBay will say you're not allowed to sell these types of items, but that doesn't mean it's illegal. That just means that website doesn't allow it. For example, Amazon does not allow people to sell a lot of different products. It doesn't mean it's illegal. It just means they're not allowing it. A similar question I get a lot: is it legal to buy stuff, or is it moral to buy stuff from a thrift store to resell when the less fortunate could be buying it? That's a big misconception. Thrift stores don't exist to sell cheap stuff to poor people. They exist as a fundraiser to sell the donated merchandise to raise funds to go to whatever cause or charity they have. Now, some thrift stores will take the donations to help the less fortunate, and in that case, they're usually not selling it to them, they're just giving it to them. But yes, it is perfectly fine to purchase stuff from a thrift store or anywhere else for a profit. Now, as far as dumpster diving, I have a little disclaimer here. I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. Contact a licensed attorney in your state if you want an actual legal answer. But as far as dumpster diving goes, laws vary from area to area, so you definitely want to check on your local laws. In most places, it is legal to dumpster dive, provided that the dumpster is not locked, the dumpster is not in a locked enclosure like behind a fence, and there is not a no trespassing sign up. Then usually it's legal to dumpster dive. That's not always the case. Some places have laws against it. Don't just check your state, check your town, your village, township, neighborhood code, ordinances, and whatnot. It can really vary from place to place. So you definitely want to check that out. She continues, have you ever encountered getting bed bugs from a storage unit or bugs from a storage unit like bed bugs or roaches, maybe even lice? I have not, and that is probably my worst fear. And I'm sure one day it'll happen and I will cry a lot. I have found stuff that had the remnants of bed bugs, but it was the middle of winter, so they were all long dead. That's why I prefer doing storage units in the wintertime or the summertime. Plus, it preserves the food that everybody, for some reason, stores. Let's see. Have you found sewing and craft stuff in storage units? Yeah, it doesn't sell that well, but I do find it from time to time. And she finishes, do all retail stores sell customer returns or overstocked items? So the stores themselves don't sell it. Sometimes you can go into a store and find a repackaged item on the clearance rack, but in general, the stores themselves don't sell them. They work with what's called a reverse logistics company. That's usually the terminology used. That company will take all of the returns, overstock shelf pulls from a chain or the chain in this region, and then they will broker it off to people like me who sell it. Usually they have very strict contracts that basically say once we fill this semi truck, you have 72 hours to sell it and get it off our property. So they really have to move volume, and they don't make a ton of money. It's a volume thing with them. But that's usually how it goes. Every single retail store does it in some format. They're not throwing away their unsold inventory. Some won't sell it to people in the US. For example, Toys R Us. You could not buy Toys R Us returns and overstocks. They were for export only before they closed. It needed to be sold overseas. Some other places won't allow, like regional stores, won't sell it within the region that their stores were. For example, I had trouble buying Shopko stuff for a while because I live in Green Bay. This is Shopko Central. My warehouse is less than a mile from Shopko's corporate headquarters. They didn't want me buying it because I was in their area and needed to go out of state. But yes, everybody sells it in some format. Joseph says, okay, so I read this one. I'm going to paraphrase because it's a long one. But he says, we both do storage units in Wisconsin, and he found some interesting items, artifacts from the 50s to 80s from an excursion the guy did in an India monastery. Some interesting stuff from concerts in the 60s and 70s, some Celtics autographs, so on and so forth. He says he's not sure if eBay is the best place to sell it. He local auction companies doesn't know if they're the best place to sell it. Here's a good piece of advice that I learned. Took me a little long to learn it, but time is very valuable. Don't sit on the item hoping to maximize profit. Turn and burn. I try to get every single item out of a storage unit, no matter what it is, sold within a week, 2 weeks at the most. I found a painting with a price tag on it for $5,500 in a storage unit, and I know I could have got more selling otherwise. Turn and burn. I sent it to an auction and sold for like $300. I was happy with that. I made a nice profit on that unit and I got the stuff out. Remember, $100 today is worth a lot more than $400 next week. So just get it on eBay, get it to an auction company, and don't try to overthink it or overanalyze it. Turn and burn. Get it out as quickly as possible. Let's see. Mike says, since you don't do thrifting for FBA anymore, do you thrift for eBay or have you entirely stopped thrifting? I will never stop thrifting. Maybe one day eBay just isn't worth it anymore and there's no replacement, or I make $100 million and it's not profit, or it doesn't make sense for me to thrift for resale anymore. I'm still going to be living in thrift stores. It's fun. It's like a treasure hunt. You get to see all the cool stuff. Go to garage sales, you get to talk to people. My girlfriend likes to tell every single person at the garage sale, boy, it's chilly this morning, or I'm glad the sun's coming out, and I need to listen to it every time, and it's so much fun. I will always be thrifting. Right now, I still thrift to sell on eBay, but I will always be thrifting even if I'm no longer selling the stuff. I will just become a hoarder if I can't sell it. Gary says, new sub here. How you doing today? I am doing fantastic. Gary, how about yourself? Um, Thrill of the Hunt. Wow, there are no spaces in the first word there. That was difficult to read. It says, thus my name, Thrill of the Hunt. Love, love thrifting. Absolutely. It's like a treasure hunt. And that's why I don't like wholesale. That's why I don't like private label. Even when Kindle publishing was big, I tried it and I hated it. And that's why I don't do merch by Amazon or retail arbitrage. I can make a killing doing this. I could make that whatever crazy high number I said before was, but it's not fun. Thrifting is fun. Storage units, although it's hard work, is fun. Except when you find bags of poop. That's not fun. But everything else is fun. And that is why I do this. And that's why I'll never stop thrifting. True story. My girlfriend and I go on date night to Goodwill. It's fun. We went on a vacation to Indianapolis and we went to the Goodwill outlet because it's fun. Oh, let's see. Karen says, hello, Resale Rabbit. You've spoken about this in other videos briefly. Can you explain more in detail how your business is set up? You mentioned you buy your personal items from your business and you're on payroll, etc. I'm interested in the reason you have it set up that way versus other business formats. The answer is very simple. Because my accountant told me to. I don't know accounting. Trying to read an IRS form is like trying to read the hieroglyphics off the Rosetta Stone. I have no idea what any of it means. But I have someone who works for me who's very good with that stuff. I hired an accounting firm. They have a team of people who handle all of my accounting, and they are really smart with this stuff. And she told me that based on my revenue, the way I operate, what I do, the best thing for me to do is an S Corp. And she explained why, and it whooshed right over my head. But that is why I'm set up as an S Corp. Now, being a corporation, I need to be separate from the business. If I see a cool thing I want, I can't just take it. If I get some extra money in the cash register, I can't just take it. Just as the Walmart greeter can't take stuff from Walmart. If they want a raise, they have to ask their boss. Now I have the benefit where I'm my own boss. But because there needs to be complete separation between me and the company is considered the corporate veil. And if you pierce the corporate veil, as it's explained, then your corporation is essentially worthless. And there's a lot more to it than that I don't know. So if you're smarter than me, watch some YouTube videos about accounting or something. I recently found out an accounting Facebook group for resellers. I don't remember what it is though. So if someone knows what that group is, just comment below so people can see it. But anyways, it's great to have an accountant. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know people who know everything. And my accountant gives me a hard time, and I hate going there because she will analyze every single number. When I did my taxes last, she called me about a $12 charge and wanted me to tell her from like a year ago, wanted me to tell her exactly what it was for. And I had to go through so much paperwork to find it. It was a thrift store that had a weird name. But I would rather her hassle me than an IRS auditor. At least I know my stuff is being done right. I would rather that than an accountant who's going to fudge the numbers and say, "Ah, it'll be fine." But that is why I have my business set up that way. Um, Cat Miss, something like that, says, "While traveling, what's one regional restaurant I always stop for?" There's two regional restaurants that I can think of. Freddy's. They have custard and burgers and fries and sauce and goodness. They're so good. They're kind of in the southeast. Um, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. I think there might be one in Austin. I don't remember. Love that place. The other one that I really like is a place called Jack's. They are only in Alabama. A couple of extra restaurants in like Eastern Louisiana, Western Mississippi. They have the best chicken ever, and their biscuits taste like they've been soaked in butter. And well, thanks for that. I'm hungry now. Let's see. The Don says, "Can you touch on why you closed your retail store?" I suppose it's time now. It's a long story. We're already 41 minutes in, so we're running short on time, so I'm going to give you the quick version. There were a series of reasons. The store was profitable, it was supporting itself, it was doing all right. However, the store had other stuff it needed to support. The warehouse here was not making any money. Everything moved over there, but the overhead remained. So the store not only supported itself, but the warehouse. Also, in addition to the 60,000 I invested, I took out a $100,000 loan, and that was $5,000 a month payments. And so the store needed to support that as well. So it was so much on the store that even though it was profitable, couldn't afford all the other things. So if I ever did it again, which I'm considering, I would make sure that everything that the warehouse self-sufficient, making money, so the store doesn't need to worry about that. And there's no debt. The store doesn't need to worry about that. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason was the location. Despite being right across the street from Walmart, right next to Goodwill and Harbor Freight, all similar type of businesses, it was a terrible location. And that was part of the reason that we didn't have a lot of traffic. The other reason we didn't have a lot of traffic is because the products weren't that great. I had just gotten into liquidation and I only knew like one or two good suppliers and a whole bunch of bad ones. I did really well with stuff out of Staples, but you can only sell so many office supplies. I didn't have a great diversification because I didn't know who to buy from. It's something that over time you get the right contacts. The biggest reason of all is because it was burning me out. It was so much work and I hated it. If I ever did it again, there would be another person from the start, be it a partner or someone to run it. I had great people working for me. I mean, I had some crappy people working for me too, but I had great people working for me, including big shout out to my girlfriend. She was helping out so much. I would have not been able to do it without her, but I would need someone from the start who can kind of just take the reins from me if I need time off. It burnt me out. So those are the reasons I closed the store. Rosemary says, "Do you know of any YouTuber who talks about eBay or Amazon in Canada?" Unfortunately, I don't. Check out Cody Orgill. He does eBay and Amazon in Australia. He's on a bike tour right now, so you're probably gonna want to go back to some of his older videos, but I think a lot of the concepts are gonna be kind of similar, and that might help you out a little bit. I was curious how much in the fourth quarter you're selling on Amazon, and do you work for Jameson now? No, I don't work for Jameson. Although true story, when I got suspended from Amazon, a big Amazon seller, guy does several million a year on Amazon, wanted to hire me on as a buyer. He wanted me to move across the country to be a buyer for him, and I considered it, but didn't want to do that. We would be eating Freddy's frozen custard every day, anyways, and that would just take up my whole paycheck. It wasn't worth it. And I knew I could build something here, and I have. Good brick and mortar. Let's see. Oh, and how much of the fourth quarter am I selling on Amazon? Very little. Not a lot on Amazon. It's a very small piece of my business now. Let's see. Tammy's question, I already answered that. How's the new business going? Any details? Well, the brick and mortar started in late July of last year, so we're a little over a year in. We're doing very well, um, incredibly well, actually. The growth has been going up quite a bit. It had a slow start for basically all of 2017, but around mid 2018, it really started to pick up and really started to gain traction. Doing really well with it. Let's see. Hi, Rabbit. Love your hat. Thank you. My hat loves you too. Um, Hannah says, all these people that don't follow instructions, I'll have a question for you live on Friday at noon. Well, Hannah, I apologize if I couldn't get to it. There are so many questions in the live feed that I'm not going to be able to get to all of them. Let's see. Star Notes is alarm set for Friday. Well, did your alarm go off? Chris is not looking for specific companies, but what should I use to search for liquidators? I'm trying to find some local companies to cut down on shipping costs, but I don't know the terminology to look for. Um, Reverse logistics is something to look for. Otherwise, just look for overstock, shelf pulls, returns. You're going to get a lot of scammers, a lot of brokers that put their markup way too high, especially with local companies. Don't be afraid on shipping. If you find a company that's local that will sell to you, they had to pay to ship it to them anyways to your town. So why not cut out their profit and you have it shipped to you? It can be overwhelming thinking $400 to ship a pallet. But if it fits your margins, who cares? And of course, the more pallets you buy, the cheaper it's going to cost to ship per pallet. Becca says, comment, reply. Hoovy says, where can I get the best gas station cheeseburger? I'd say Sheets. If you live in Ohio, Pennsylvania, go to Sheets. They have the best gas station cheeseburger. Quick Trip is also, they have some good ones, or the knockoff Quick Trip with a Q that's over on the West Coast. They're not bad. Some speedways or get go locations are decent. Let's see. I just got my first lot of liquidations. I was a little disappointed because there was a lot of damaged items. I bought uninspected returns. Would you recommend buying new shelf pulls instead of new returns, like our next time? Is it worth the extra money? It can be. You really need to have a good outlet to sell new product. You can be paying up to 50% and even more on new product, and that can make it very difficult. I kind of prefer returns. It can be more work, and you're going to find a lot of broken items. You're getting it so cheap that it's worth it. But of course, it depends on your outlet and how you're selling too. I recommend trying it. Also, remember, just because you bought one load that was really bad, it's gonna happen. There are bad loads out there. There are good loads out there. Don't give up on returns just because of that one. Christine says, I bought a box from bulk.com. There was your first mistake. We'll go on. That was a month ago. I still haven't even made back what I put into it. And I got it with free shipping. I might make a profit eventually, but it seems to be stuff people don't really want or that's out of season. Mine had an empty oil scent thing. I'm just glad it was empty before they put it in the box. I'm so afraid I've been full and gotten all over everything. Probably won't buy from them again. First, I'll say it is not uncommon to find stuff leaking all over your products, shampoos or cleaning products. It happens so often. As far as buying from them again, bulk, they used to be good. I used to buy from them a lot. They have really, their quality has dropped, their prices have gone up. And I've tried to find stuff on there and I just couldn't find much. That's not to say you can't make money with bulk. You just need to find the right outlets for it, especially if you have a retail store or you're a flea market dealer. That might be your best bet. You're definitely not going to make much on eBay because bulk also has a company called Blink, which is an online retailer where they sell the good stuff. So that's where most of the online stuff is going to go. You can usually get clothing pretty cheap, around $1 to $2 per unit there. So if you have a store or flea market booth, you make some decent money with that. But for the most part, not that great. Josh says, where do you find storage auctions? Okay, a lot of people will say buy into a subscription service like storagetreasures.com or storage auction list or storage unit auction, whatever it's called. You don't need to do that. In most places, the storage facility is legally required to post a legal notice in a local newspaper for that storage unit, usually like 30 days before the auction. So go to your local newspaper's website, their classified section, and look through the legal notices. Search for things like lien or storage unit or auction. Get yourself an appointment book. I've got one right here, and just keep track of all of the storage auctions in your area. You're going to see them way in advance. But even on websites like Bid13 or auction companies that that put their storage units on Hybid and whatnot, they still legally need to post it in the newspaper in most states. So that's your best place to look. Legal notices of the newspaper. Then you can also check all these other websites, but I found especially this one like storageunitauctionlist.com or something. It's like $12 a month. They never have a fraction of the storage auctions here. They have like 3 or 4 a month on there when there is so many more. So that's your best place. When you get to a storage auction, ask if they have a mailing list too. Some will call, some will email, some will send letters, some won't do anything at all. But it also helps so you don't need to be quite as diligent in looking in the newspaper. What can you tell me about your professional ideologies? Catherine says. I really don't have any special ideologies. Always be open minded to change your business if need be, especially in resale. It's an ever changing market. They say if it's so easy, why doesn't everyone do it? Everyone does do it. And that's why you need to be willing to change and adapt. My business goes through a complete overhaul change probably about every 6 months because of that. Usually on the type of stuff that I sell. There's so many things that I used to sell that I don't sell anymore just because of that. So I suppose that's the biggest one. Always be willing to adapt and change. All right, last page here. I like your videos. I just want to see more from you often. Keep things interesting. I would like to see one of your dollar sales live. I would really like to see that. Oh, and more unboxings. Well, I will try to do more videos. Usually, like I said, you get a whole bunch together over the course of a week and then nothing for a while. And then the lizard says, what's your favorite part of your job? The hunt, the thrill of the treasure hunt. That is the best part. All right, let's scroll through here. Debbie says he doesn't pay taxes. I wish. Scrolling up. Do you agree that YouTube? Do you agree that the YouTube "It's cool to be a reseller" craze from a few years ago is long over? Also, it has to be sweet that you zip past others in the dust with the sub count. The funniest part was the fact that Steve Rakin was supposed to be the first reseller to hit 100,000. He was at like 97,000 when I was at like 30,000. Now, one video made me blow past him. That was amusing. I gave him a lot of crap for it, probably to the point that he was very, very annoyed. But the cool to be a reseller craze, I don't remember that really ever happening. I think most people just saw an opportunity to sell courses and they really got into it. YouTube kind of is fun, so I think that's a big part of it. Let's see. Um, just scrolling through here. Oh, there are some bad spam posts here. Well, not spam, but things that we don't want on this family-friendly channel. I say this a lot. I try to keep the channel family-friendly, but I can't control the comments. What is my physical store in Green Bay called? Oh, you're trying too hard. I haven't even told you what my business is. But my former store, the one that I closed, was called Wisconsin Overstock Outlet. You might be able to find some remnants on the internet from that. How do I go about putting you out of business? Um, I don't know. I have a lot of drive and energy. I don't think you really can put me out of business. It would take a lot more than a couple people. I suppose if you burned my warehouse to the ground right after impersonating me on the phone to cancel my insurance, that probably would put me out of business. So please don't do that. I'm seeing a lot of political questions in here. I thought we weren't talking about politics. Let's see. How much money in sales do you do in a year, if you don't mind revealing? I don't like talking about the exact numbers. I'll talk about eBay. I did. I don't even know anymore. Let me see if I can open up a window here. I hope I don't lose the chat. I kind of hope you can't see this. I am on eBay right now, and I am going to see what my sales are because I honestly don't remember. Let's see. eBay. Let's see, where would this be? Summary. I think that would be what I want. Can I do a year? It just shows me my last 31 days. How about seller level? I think that shows on. Now you want me to log in. Let's see. Oh, okay. My total sales to date, I started probably about 2 years ago now, and I've done $56,928 on eBay. That's basically part time. I really don't put much energy in eBay. There are times I'll go a couple months without even listing a new product. So 56,000, I'm very proud of that. Amazon is much less, but at my peak in 2016, I did about a little under 350,000 in sales on Amazon. Kansas has Freddy's in Emporia, Kansas. One moment. Emporia, Kansas. Where is that? That is not far from Kansas City. Well, I guess I'm going to Emporia, Kansas. I know my girlfriend is watching right now, so hey, guess where we're going this weekend? Let's see. Do you ever get stressed by the amount of stuff you're surrounded by? Not really. Um, there's a lot of stuff in my warehouse. People accuse me of being a hoarder all the time, but stuff is constantly coming and going. You get used to it. Those pallets of crap will be sold, and then more pallets of crap will come in. Let's see. Someone says your girlfriend may be part English. We always talk about the weather. Never know. Let's see. Brandon says, did I mention anything about the store that I wanted to open? It's looking at doing maybe a consignment store, or thrift store type thing, something that in the works for potentially next year. Let's see. What's the neatest thing that you found while going through a locker? The neatest thing. Let me show you. I will be right back. It's right in the other file. This is the neatest thing that I found in a storage unit the other day. Right here, 1962 Packers, autographed by 8 of the guys in the picture. I had this framed myself. I brought this and some other autographs that I found that year. I spent like $400 to get them framed. They were just rolled up pictures. I found 6 of this picture autographed, and then a whole bunch of blank ones. Now I know what you're thinking. Scammers. This unit was actually owned by the family of the guy who took this picture. Big photographer in the area. And that was a lot of fun to go through. But I believe that they are real, which is why I spent so much money on getting them framed. The guy who took the picture is the one who his daughter-in-law owned the unit. The guy who took the picture signed the certificate-ish thing on the back. I'm pretty confident they're real. I even have receipts from the photography studio selling them. That is the coolest thing ever that I found in a unit. I've got that framed along with some others hanging up just outside my office. Let's look at some more recent comments. What auction websites are good in joining to buy storage units or store return pallets from? I've never bought a pallet in an auction. I've always bought it right from brokers. A couple people say I lost sound and it's back, so I hope that doesn't disappear again. A lot of people say they lost sound. Interesting. I apologize for that. Frank the Tank asked if I pooped today. Yes, I did that at my girlfriend's apartment and she wasn't there. So that will be fun for her to come home to. Let's see. I think I need to stop procrastinating. I need to finish my assignment. Yes, Catherine, go do your assignment. We're almost done here anyways. It's been 59 minutes and 4 seconds. I was planning on about an hour. So I'm going to go to the bottom of the thread. Couple more minutes. Questions. If you've got any questions, I'll try to get to them right here. We missed most about what you said in the picture. I found like 6 of those in a storage unit, 5 or 6 of them in a storage unit. I got that one framed for my own collection, and I'm not going to go through it all again, but I am very confident that it is authentic, despite the fact that there were several. So I spent like $400 to get it done. Frank can't believe I answered him. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have answered that on this family-friendly channel. Do I have children? No, I do not have children. Trying to get listings done. I need to organize and pack stuff to bring to my new space. Get out there and list. Most profitable find, those blood analyzers I mentioned earlier. I spent $25 on them, sold them on eBay, where after shipping and fees, I got about $2,000 or $2,500, somewhere in that range. This is a couple of months ago. I did them auction style, so they sold in a week. Turning in late, sorry if you answered this already. Do you still do dollar sales? Are they successful for you? Yes, although I've been procrastinating it for a while. Hopefully I'll do one soon. What's the most expensive thing that I found in a storage unit? Hmm. It might be those autographs. They're worth quite a bit. Do you like cheese? I love cheese. Cheese goes through my veins. It's wonderful. I go to storage facilities and just, whoa, it jumped. And just get to their auction mailing list. Easy. Yes, that's a good way to find them. Maxed out on eBay sales and listings for the month. Call eBay. They once every 30 days, if you want to call them, they'll raise your limits for you. Also, if you have a registered business and you put in your EIN, they'll jump it up. When I first started on eBay, it was like 5 items or $500, and I put in my corporate information, and it bumped me up to like $75,000 for a limit. So just call eBay and see about getting that raised. Every 30 days, you should call them. You won't have that problem. Becca says, I put comment on your videos to be a I put comment on your videos to be a good YouTube. I enjoy the content. Thanks for making them. Appreciate you watching, Becca. The Modern Scavenger says, should I call them and try to get my listing count up? Yes, call them. Call them right now. Well, after this video is done. But cheese is delicious. Cheese is delicious. Percentage-wise, where do you source your stuff? Storage auctions, local auctions, online liquidation? I would say maybe 30% comes from storage auctions. 10 or 15% comes from liquidation, 10% comes from thrift stores, and the other 50% or so comes from, I'm just going to say, other sources. Have you ever taken out a PayPal loan? I have not, but I've done the Amazon loans before. It was beneficial. It worked out well for me. Do you grease the wheels at auctions? If by grease the wheels, you mean paying people off, no. Most auctioneers won't accept bribes if they're good ones, but it doesn't hurt to build a rapport with anybody that you work with, an auctioneer, your UPS driver, so that helps, I suppose. Um, I have found cremation remains in a unit. Have you found any? Yes, I have found cremation remains before. I always try to get personal stuff like that back to the owner. I've never had an instance where I couldn't get cremation remains to the owner. But if it ever did happen, I'd go to a nice place and scatter the ashes. I wouldn't just let it go in the landfill or anything like that. Let's see. eBay and I had a difference of opinion. I'm no longer allowed to sell there. It's another good site I can use besides Amazon for used and vintage items. Well, I heard eBay or Etsy. eBay. I heard Etsy is good for vintage clothing. I'm also told stuff sells very slowly. Poshmark might be a place to look for. I've never sold with Poshmark. I have zero experience with Poshmark. I think they're only clothing. You might want to check them out. Other than that, you're gonna have to look for local auction companies and consignment stores and whatnot. There's not a lot of other stuff online. When am I gonna stream again? I should do these more often. Maybe I'll make it a weekly thing. Maybe I won't. Stay tuned and find out. What's your favorite fast? I'm assuming you mean fast food place. Probably McDonald's. I think that's probably my favorite. I eat there the most. Get yourself stick-proof gloves when going through a unit. Needles are common. It just takes one. I am very careful with the unit, looking before I dig. So I'm not worried about that. It is good advice. I hate gloves, so I like to have the dexterity of my hands. I wear latex gloves to keep the gross off my hands. I don't want any of that on me. But I should get gloves, but I should do a lot of things that I don't do. I should use safety glasses when I use my cordless drill, but I don't do that either. Poshmark sells other stuff too, not just clothing. Okay, there's your answer. Check out Poshmark. Have you ever found anyone's stuffed dead pets in a unit? I have not, but there's another guy that goes to the storage auctions around me who said he found a couple of dead dogs in 5-gallon buckets in a unit. And he was very grossed out and didn't want anything to do with that unit afterwards. Yeah, I hope I don't find that. Um, I predict production companies are going to start trying to look you up for a show. I actually had them offer to do some production company that does stuff with like ESPN and Disney wanted to do a show for me back. It was when I was out on the road a lot a couple years ago. Um, they wanted me to send them a sizzle video, and I never got around to doing it. It's not really something that I'm interested in. It might be fun. Maybe I would, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's interesting enough for an actual show. Do you do garage or estate sales? Yes, they're fun, especially garage sales. I predict. I already read that one. Nice advice, Cody. But needles aside, it takes one rat urine drop to give deadly whales disease. Yeah, I've heard about that. That kind of worries me. I looked it up though. Someone mentioned that in a comment. I looked it up. As long as the urine has been sitting for a couple of days, it should be fine. If it's fresh, it could carry that disease. So it kind of helps buying storage units in the winter when the mice are all long gone. That's awful. Poor pets. From how it sounded, the dogs passed away naturally, and that's just what the owner did with them. It didn't sound like there was any foul play. So sad, but not as sad. Let's see. Do you ever tell your viewers what new business venture was at the store space you visited? I was thinking about doing a thrift store or consignment store there. It's something that is not an immediate thing. It'll probably happen if it happens spring or summertime. Sizzle, isn't like a sizzle video, kind of something showing what I do. I had to look it up too because I didn't know what he meant by that. It's basically like a trailer or promo video type thing. Have you considered $2 warehouse sale instead of the $1 you do? Most of the stuff isn't even worth a dollar. I couldn't get $2 for like dishes and stuff. A dollar really entices people to come. What's your opinion about opening a liquidation brick and mortar? Why did I close mine? It's a long story. I talked about it earlier. Unfortunately, I'll have to go back in the video. I have considered reopening with all the stuff that I've learned from that. Do you have direct contracts with national chain stores to acquire liquidated items? No. And you won't get them either. The people that have the direct contracts are the ones that are buying hundreds of truckloads per week. They're told, at least with Staples, the Staples will fill a semi trailer and they're told you have 72 hours to get this off our property. So you really need to have the connections to sell them. And I'm sure it's very difficult to get in. It's mostly massive companies that have these contracts, and you're going to have to buy it through them. When they say it's coming direct, that just means the truck is coming straight from the retailer to you. That doesn't mean they are the retailer. What's your opinion? I already read that one. How often do you take a loss on an item? It happens from time to time. I am a risky buyer. I like to buy things that might be risky because I usually end up ahead overall, but occasionally I take losses. Not terribly often, and usually not on expensive stuff, but it happens. I have never lost money on a pallet or storage unit. Let's see. Have you ever considered having your own website versus whoa, the chat just disappeared. Okay, it's back. That was weird. Now let me see if I can find that. Um have you ever considered having your own website versus using eBay or Amazon? With your following, you could easily make more money, at least to sell the very popular stuff. It's a lot of work and a lot of marketing. My following, although it's massive for what I do, I need a lot more than 130,000 people to make a website viable. Of course, if every one of you bought from me, then it would be better, but that's not likely to happen. eBay, Amazon have millions of people, millions with an S. Um, it would take a lot to build up a website, and it's something that I've considered and something that I might do, but not something at the front of my mind. Do you personally collect anything? I collect coins. I've got a very expensive coin collection that my girlfriend hates that I spend that much money on. My safe deposit box is getting full. I will need to buy it or rent another one soon. I collect vintage cameras, as you can see. I I collect autographs of players I like. I collect vintage stuff. I have a lot of stuff that I collect. Honestly, if I wasn't selling most of the stuff, I'd really become a hoarder because I buy a lot of stuff just because I like it and then sell it for a profit. Let's see. Are you considering doing your own local auction? Yeah, I've considered it. When you discard electronics, do you scavenge gold, silver, other precious metals before waving bye to them? Typically, no. Um, if I happen to stumble on a ton of laptops, I might sell them to a scrapyard, but it's not worth my time to pull all this stuff out. I do recycle all of my electronics. I've got an e-waste place that I work with. They take all that stuff. Do you have a business partner? No, I don't. Um, Thought about selling a portion of my company. I was even offered $15,000 for half of my brick and mortar as a partner, but no, it really needs to be the right person for a partner, and 15,000 is not nearly enough. But no, I don't have a business partner currently. For your website, you could sell things that you get quantity of and make a quick buck, and your following could sell. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but yeah, I could make some money selling stuff on my own website, but it's more work than it's worth right now. With all the smaller things that don't sell or not worth selling alone by itself, I make $10 to $15 mystery boxes. What's your opinion on that tactic? It is against eBay's terms of service, so be very careful. You don't want to lose your eBay account over that. But if you're selling outside of eBay, like Facebook Marketplace or something, it can be beneficial. eBay does allow mystery boxes to an extent as long as you somewhat describe what's in there, like a box of 50 DVDs. That is okay. But a box where you don't know what's in it, that is not okay. So be careful with mystery boxes. What trends or predictions have you made for the next year in reselling? Um, oh, that's a tough one. You put me on the spot here. I think I think eBay is going to grow a lot over the next year. I think they're going to change a lot and be very different. And I think it's going to annoy a lot of people. I embrace the change. I think that's going to be a big one. I think a lot of the stuff that we're selling now is not going to be worth much in the next year. I think video games are a trend that's disappearing. So if you have video games, sell them while you can. Ever sell on Etsy? No, I have not, but I know it can be viable depending on what you're selling. I just don't sell the right type of stuff. Let's see. A lot of Trump stuff. I am not going to talk about politics. Awesome. Thank you for the mystery box advice. I had no idea. I learned through. Oh, I learned themed video game and DVD boxes that call out the brand, but not names of the games. I recommend don't listen to me, don't listen to any other YouTuber, Facebook group. Look in eBay's terms specifically. They do have a section for mystery boxes. The easiest way to get suspended is to listen to a YouTuber because YouTubers can give incorrect information, outdated information. I have people who comment thinking they can still sell expired ink on Amazon. That was like 2013. A lot has changed since then. So don't listen to YouTubers. Go in and read the terms on eBay or Amazon or whatever website you're selling. That's the best way to learn whether or not you're allowed to do something. Where and when do you have your dollar sales? I live in the area and would like to check it out. I have them at my warehouse. As far as whenever I feel like it, I guess. I've been very lazy lately. Um, holy crap. Lots of Trump stuff, both for and against Trump, it looks like. I don't want to talk about politics or religion. There's religion too. Come on, guys. The biggest way to destroy a YouTube channel is to introduce politics or religion. Unless you have a political channel or a religious channel, keep it out. And that is what I plan to do. Let's see. Um, Waiting for actual comments that make sense for me to answer in here. Let's scroll up. I'm sure there were some that I missed. Let's see. I think I got all the recent ones. All right, I think we're gonna probably. What's your view on eBay moving away from PayPal? Optimistic. I think it's gonna be a good move. I think it's gonna be a big change. I think it's gonna upset a lot of people, as change always does. I think overall it'll be a good move. Worst category to try and resell in. In my opinion, the worst category to sell is shoes. I get grossed out by feet. I see what is on the floor of the bathroom, so I don't want to touch the bottom of a pair of shoes. I really don't. I will never wear my shoes in my house past the first like 3 feet of the hard floor. I don't like shoes. I don't like feet. I don't like what's on the bottom of the shoes from the floor that gets tracked around. I don't really sell shoes. Let's see. What's the best way to find good auctions? Just Googling and showing up. There's no way to tell if an auction is good or bad without showing up. I've been to some really bad ones. I wouldn't have known unless I showed up. Remember when you posted a video in your office took over that used to be a coin mint? I mentioned that a couple times in the video in this video before. Fortunately, you have to go back through and look. I hate PayPal. They've done nothing but slowed my growth as a business. I honestly don't see a need for PayPal, especially since they're a separate company. It would make more sense for eBay to handle the payments themselves, similar to how Amazon does, and just build it into the fees. Brookwood says pawn shops. Yes, pawn shops exist. I'm not sure what you're asking. I do source from pawn shops. There aren't a lot in small town America here, but when I go to a bigger city, I end up at a lot of pawn shops. Very profitable. Do you have pets and do you get bundles of pet stuff? I sell pet stuff from time to time, but no, I don't have any pets. I'm allergic and I have leather furniture and I don't like the smell of animals. I like animals, just not in my house. All right. You have an old coin with Nero on one side and olive branches, maybe an eagle, wondering any way of telling it's genuine. Take it to a local coin shop. That's really the only way, especially with ancient coins. There are so many replica ancient coins sold to tourists in like Rome and Greece and whatnot. And even authentic ones don't sell for a ton, so don't get your hopes up. But take it to a local coin shop. That is your best way to authenticate it. They may charge you for an actual written authentication, but usually they'll look at it and tell you whether or not it's real. And if they won't do that for you, tell them you want to sell it to them because they'll tell you right then and there if it's real, and then just don't sell it to them. Would you be able to make a charity drive by raising some money via GoFundMe or Patreon and buy pallets, donate the money earned to a charity of choice? I'd be open to it. Send me an email, resellrabbit@gmail.com. Do you move away from FBA? And if yes, why? Just because I didn't see a future there. I don't trust Amazon. Even if you're doing wholesale or private label on Amazon, they're still a sketchy company. If you're doing private label, they're going to take your ideas and make an Amazon Basics version at half your price. If you're doing wholesale, they will require your invoices to show where you buy it from. So they go to them and then take your suppliers. Not saying they do that to everybody. I do know with pretty good certainty that they've done it. I don't like Amazon. I don't trust them. I think they treat their sellers terribly. And although I do still buy and sell on Amazon, much smaller capacity than before, it's not something that I see a future in. And it's not something that I can trust. Amazon was my sole source of income for a long time. And then out of nowhere, they suspended me over some false IP claims. And I lost all of my income while having to maintain the overhead of this warehouse. That was a very stressful day for me. And I did get my Amazon account back, but I just lost my sense of security with Amazon. And that's why I have moved away from Amazon and expanded into my own business. Even eBay, that experience with Amazon taught me that I can't even put all my eggs in the eBay basket because what if eBay does it? You never know if eBay changes their policies one day and it makes it tougher to stay on eBay. So I built something that is mine. The only person that can kick me off is this guy. All right. If anyone wants to send you a gift, what's the best way to do that? You don't need to send me any gifts. I've gotten some gifts before. So I've mentioned them in the videos. A lot of Brett Favre stuff. If you do send me an email, resellrabbit@gmail.com, but it's really not necessary. Did you see that Amazon was paying eBay employees to get eBay's bigger sellers to Amazon? I did not see that. Seems kind of sketchy, but stuff like that happens all the time. I did see something along the lines of eBay or Amazon employees giving away buyer information to sellers, and they got in trouble for that. A new Amazon fulfillment center is being opened in Cleveland. It'll be 100,000 square feet in an old mall. They will have returns. Maybe shipping will be cheaper for you. There are Amazon fulfillment centers all over the place that have returns from all over the place. There's even one in Milwaukee, which is like 2 hours south of me. There's a handful in Chicago, Minneapolis. Um, but yes, Cleveland would be a lot closer. What platform do I do most of my reselling? As far as online, probably eBay. I agree 100% about Amazon. Your Amazon problem you had was a blessing in disguise. Yeah, it really was. Could have happened when I had a little bit more income stabilized here and there. But yes, I did. I protected myself. It's like getting in a car accident. You get insurance from then on out. If you get in a car accident without insurance, you learn very quickly to get insurance. Should I sell clothing on eBay? It is a very saturated market. It's still profitable. I don't like doing it. I don't enjoy doing it, but I know people who do really well with it. I heard there was a lawsuit opened by eBay against Amazon. I haven't followed to see if that's true, though. I haven't seen anything, but I'm usually the last to know on this type of stuff, so don't go by my word. Throw all your Brett Favre stuff in a box and when it's full, send it to Rabbit. That's my guy, Aaron. He knows what to do. Throw all your Brett Favre stuff in a box, send it to me. All right, I've got a ton of Brett Favre stuff from viewers, and that's always fun to open. All right. Do you donate to rescues? Animal rescues? Yes. I don't know if there are any other type of rescues. Um, how do you separate yourself from other sellers? On eBay, I offer free returns, no questions asked. You change your mind on an item, you decide you prefer the money, whatever the reason is, you return the item. I'll send you a shipping label, no problem. I have free shipping on almost every item. My returns are also usually either 30 or 60 days, depending on the type of item. Very few items have no returns. I take very good pictures. I pride myself on that. Things like that really set you apart on eBay. I have best offer on my listings. They really set you apart. You know what? My return rate is still under 2%. Very few times things get returned. And usually when things do get returned, well, there was an issue and it would have been returned either way, whether I have a return policy or not. That's what really sets me apart. And occasionally I'll lose money on a return based on this policy, but because I'm able to sell my stuff for more than my competition, it more than makes up for it. Knight says, "Holy crap, you're still live! I'm here to watch the replay." Well, you're gonna have to wait. We are. Oh man, it's been an hour and 22 minutes. Okay, I gotta go, everybody. I'll do more of these, I promise. I will announce when I'm doing my next one. Maybe I'll do another one next week, but that is all I've got for today. It's been almost an hour and a half. So I appreciate all the questions. This has been fun. I should probably get some work done today. So I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like this video if you want to see more. Leave a comment, and I probably will not reply to it, but maybe I will. I'm not good at replying to comments. And subscribe if you aren't already. You want to see more of these. See you guys later.